Hey there. Today I'm going to show you how to draw Ultron from the new Avengers movie. Now, this was probably one of my most challenging lessons I've had to do, just because there's so much detail in the character's face. So I'm only going to focus on the head today. So let's get started. Just above both of the eyes, I'm going to draw a curve that goes from the top of one eye to the other. So let's start on one side here, on the left. And I'm just going to do a gradual curve that goes up. Okay. Now I'm going to have the character looking sort of 3/4 in that direction, not perfectly straight. So you'll see that a lot of this stuff on the right will get foreshortened, while this stuff gets kind of stretched out. Okay, so from here, I'm going to take this side here and this curve down. Okay. On this side here, I'm going to do the same exact thing. So they're basically mirrored on both sides. I'm going to move up a little bit on the left and curve up to the inner part of the eye here. So starting here, I'm going to gradually curve up to the inner part of the eye. Let's keep a gap in the middle here. I'm going to try to draw almost the exact same shape on this side, but just mirrored over. So from here, I'm going to try to hit that point there. So curving across, and then up again. Now from here, I'm going to draw the inner lid. So the eyes kind of get pushed back into like almost like a socket. So I'll come in a little bit here. I'm just going to draw a curve that almost touches the top and comes down. I'll draw the exact same thing on the right side. Now from here, I want to draw the pupils. So the pupils are kind of freaky. So I'm going to start with a little tiny circle. And then I'm going to draw a slightly bigger circle around it. Now if I have to, I'm going to try to tuck it in underneath that bottom eyelid. And then I'm going to go one more time around. And it gets tucked underneath the eyelids. And on the outside here, I'm just going to color that in black. Because later on, as I color this in, I'm going to color in the white areas red. Okay, let's go to this side and do the exact same thing. So I'm going to draw a smaller circle. And again, I'm pointing it sort of in that direction, so it's kind of looking at you. And then I'll start at the bottom here and circle around. And then I'll do it again with a wider circle. And then the outer part, I'm just going to color that in black. So it's actually starting to look pretty freaky to me. So from here, I'm going to curve these two lines into where the upper edge of the mouth would be. So I probably want to locate the mouth maybe right about here. So I'm just going to draw a straight line across. Now the straight line sort of lines up sort of in the inner part of the eyes here. And it's kind of like Iron Man's mask. So from this point to this point, I'm just going to curve in to create sort of an arch. And I'll do the same thing for this side here. Now again, I'm doing a very simplified version of Ultron, so I don't want to get into all that detail right now, and I'll put all that stuff in later on. Now from here, it starts to get a little bit tricky. So I'm going to leave a gap and draw a line underneath for the bottom part of the mouth, so it's the same length on both sides. And then from here, I'm just going to imagine this curve coming down and around on both sides. Now from here, I'm just probably going to locate the chin right there. So I'll connect these 2 points with a slight upward curve. Now I can draw a little bit of detail in the chin while I'm at it. So in the bottom half of this, I'm going to draw a little oval. It's got a little bit of an oval detail there. Okay, now from here I'm going to shift my focus up towards the top of the head. So from this point at the bottom here, I'm just going to curve out. Now this will go to the temples in the head. So if I imagine this curve going up, I'm going to kind of stretch this out to the outer part of the head on both sides. Now you can see this side I'm going to make it a little bit shorter just because you're going to see a little bit more here, because again he's facing that way. Now from this point, I'm just going to flare outwards on both sides. Very short lines going out, and then I'm going to come back in. So these are sort of like the very chiseled cheekbones of the face. And from here I'm going to come down to the jaw. So the jaw is going to be slightly higher than the chin. So right about here, I'm going to go straight down on both sides, and then I'm going to do a straight line right into those points there in the chin. Let's go in and draw those. So far, so good. Okay, now from here I'm going to move up to the head area, because I'm going to save the detail part for last. So from here, from this point, I'm just going to do a gradual curve, kind of going inwards. On this side, I'm going to do the exact same thing, going inwards at the same height. Now from here I'm going to draw the top round of the head, but in the middle here I'm going to leave a gap, because I'm going to leave a space for a little bit of indentation. So if I kind of put my thumb here, I'm going to draw a curve, kind of goes up. Now I'm going to leave a gap here, so now I know I'm going to start from here and then draw a curve that connects with that point right there. Alright, now from here I'm going to imagine doing two lines coming down to the center of the temple, but I'm not going to go all the way down. I'm just going to draw sort of two lines sort of aimed in the inner parts of the eye there. I'm going to finish that off by connecting the two lines. I'm going to drop down a bit and just draw an upper curve just to finish off the top of the head there. Okay, now that we have that, I'm going to start to draw a little bit of detail now. So in the inner part of the eyes, right here, I'm just going to draw a curve, just kind of going around that eye on both sides, like that. And then from here, I'm going to draw a curve that kind of follows the inner part of that line here on both sides. Now I'm going to follow that line, leave a gap for the mouth, and just wrap around that chin, kind of like so. Okay, now let's get into some of the cheek detail. So from this point here, it's got this sort of swirl that comes around. So before I do that swirl, I'm going to start at this chin, this cheek part here, and I'm going to curve around, kind of sort of taper in as I get down to this point here. I'm going to do the same thing for this side. I'm going to come in and then taper out. Okay, so you got two little curves that come out like this. Now from here, from this point, I'm going to connect to this point here. So starting up here, I'm just going to come around and then join up with that line. Same on this side here. Just like that. Alright, now that's looking pretty cool. And from this point, I'm just going to wrap this underneath that jaw, or that cheek. So from here, I'm just going to curve around and basically create a sharp point at that end. So it'll come in like this, and again you'll see that this side's a little bit smaller than this, but that's because his head sort of turned this way. Now I'm going to show a little bit of depth in here by just outlining the inner part of this face. I'll do the same thing on this side, and on this side you're just going to see a little bit of the center core. You won't see that on this side here. Alright, now let's get into the temple or the forehead detail. So here I kind of want to curve two lines going into this point here. So here, from this point, I'm just going to curve and connect to that point there. This side, I'm going to do the same thing, curving outwards, kind of like that. Now I'm going to draw the two red sort of detailed lines that come down, but it sort of has to end somewhere. So I think what I'm going to have to do is draw a line from here up to a point here. So let's draw a diagonal line going up in the center of those eyes. Then from here, I'm just going to curve out. So you got a sharp turn going out to the side of the head on both sides. Now from here, I'm going to come in. So basically making that line double thick, and then coming down, and about halfway down, I'm just going to do a straight line across. On this side, I'm going to come down. Again, and come down to right about there, on the same height as on the right side, and go straight across. Now you can go in and draw a little bit more detail just to kind of put some of the paneling in. So from this point, I'm probably going to draw a curve going outwards. So a reverse curve from the inner part of the eye. Same on this side, going outwards. That looks pretty cool. And let's draw a couple panels on this side. So I'm going to come in, come down, kind of curve around that eye, the outer part of that eye, and then come around. So it kind of looks like a little inset inside here. I'll do the same thing on this side, just like that. And then let's get into the ear pieces. So these big sort of things that sort of stick out on the side of the head. So starting right about here, just outside of the head, I'm going to draw a curve that comes around and just under that jaw. Let's do that same line here. So I'm going to start at the same height, curve around, and end up just under that jaw. From this point, again, I'm doing a very simple version, so I'm going to draw a straight line across the tops on both sides. And from this point, I'm just going to curve and start to taper in to a point. Do the same on this side here. So tapering in to a point. Now I'm going to draw a little bit of perspective to give it some thickness. So from this point, I'm going to go out. So tucking that under the chin. I'll do the same thing for this side here. Now to finish off the tops here, I'm just going to take this point and aim towards the chin. Aim a line, imaginary line going towards the chin. Like that. So there we go. There's the head. And again, we can come back and do a little bit more detail later on. But again, I'm just going to draw just part of the collarbone with the neck, just so you can see some of that. So I'm just going to draw a line here just to guide my neck. So right about here, I'm just going to draw a curve. So from the outer edge of the jaw to this side, I'm just going to draw a curve. Okay, this will be my sort of my guide for the neck. And for a simple neck, I'm just going to start right where the jaw is. I'm going to curve towards the right. And then on this side, I'm just going to come in a little bit and then taper out. So wider part as it gets down to the bottom here. From this jaw, I'm going to come in a little bit and curve down. Over here, I'm just going to, again, kind of get wider as I come down to the bottom. And now because I want to give this some depth and thickness, I'm going to start at the bottom here and draw a curve. I'll do it on both sides. Step up a little bit and draw a curve. Again, going up again. I'm going to tuck this underneath that jaw. I'll do one on this side. This side probably doesn't need it. And then on the inside here, I'm just going to connect these 2 points with an upward curve. Simple as that. And this will get tucked in underneath that chin. Now, to finish off the collarbone, I'm just going to go up in an angle here. Again, you can sort of make things up as you go because he's really a complex character. I'm going to go down in an angle on both sides. And that's probably as far as I'm going to go with the chest area. Let's finish off the shoulders. So from here, I'm going to curve out on both sides, starting at the same height, going out this way. I'm going to give this a little bit of thickness and tuck that underneath the collarbone. That. On this side, again, I'm going to go in the reverse way like I did here. 1, 2, 3 curves, just to give it some thickness. This side, I'll do the exact same thing like so. Yeah, let's go ahead and draw a little bit of detail in here. So here, I'm just going to finish off the bottom by going across with a curve. Here in the center of this chest, I'm just going to draw a line, 2 lines coming in towards each other, coming down at an angle, and then straight down a little bit. I'm going to thicken this bottom part up like so. And I think I'll leave it at that. And there we have it. There is Ultron from the new Avengers movie. I know this is a really tough lesson, but I hope you can get through it. Good luck, and please share this with your friends, get them to subscribe, and we'll see you again soon.